My name is Rena Vanzo. I am the CEO and co-founder of the Boob Bus, which is a new mobile breast imaging service in Utah. We travel around the city, the state really, providing things like 3D screening mammograms and dense breast ultrasound for women. These are some of the best ways to detect breast cancer early while it's most treatable. So I remember very well whenever I got a phone call from a city inspector at South Jordan City Hall, and she was quite polite. I remember the exact chair I was sitting in. I remember the day it was, and really it just knocked the wind out of me. She identified herself and said, "I wanted to call you before you got this letter in the mail. You're currently violating city code and you're gonna need to move your bus off of your property." And I mean, it really just, the wind went out of my sails. I started to panic and I was going through my mind. I checked this out. I looked at the city code. I reached out to City Hall. I contacted the business licensing professionals there. So I thought I had done everything, and then it just really washed over me. Oh no, what happened? What am I violating? This threatens my entire business. If I am unable to park at my home property, what that would mean is really delays to life-saving medical care for people. It is very often that I have to come out to the bus. I have to resend the radiology images to the radiologist, and all of that is wired to do from my best. So if I would have to park somewhere else, drive to an alternate location, I may not be able to do that as feasibly. In addition, I feel very comfortable with my bus here, knowing it is safe, it is under lock and key, and it is temperature controlled. I have to keep the instrumentation between certain temperature ranges to make sure it's operational, and I would worry that another facility wouldn't have that capability. The whole situation is really a head scratcher because I live in a community where camping is quite frequent. And in fact, a high percentage of my neighbors own their own personal RVs. And regardless of how much those RVs weigh, how big they are, those are allowed to be parked on residential properties. But the minute that vehicle becomes a commercial vehicle, even if it's the same size, the same shape, it is not allowed to be parked in a residential area. So I am restricted. I am violating the city code because of two reasons. Number one, I am a commercial vehicle. Number two, that is over a certain weight limit. So if I was a recreational personal vehicle over that weight limit, I would not be in violation of the code. So I live in a circle drive. It's a very quaint community in South Jordan, and my neighbors literally right next to me, the other side of the fence, have a comparable size fifth wheel, and theirs is allowed. It meets the city code, but mine does not, simply because it's got this wrap on the outside. It's corporate looking, and it is a business. It's commercial, so it's not allowed, even though these two things are sitting on the same parcel of land separated only by a fence, and they're the same size and weight. Compliant? Not compliant. I recognize the importance of rules and regulations, but also we're in a very changing society and landscape. I mean, 4 years ago with COVID, that changed everything. People started to become more entrepreneurial in spirit. They started to become more go-getters and self-starters. We're celebrating small businesses and shopping locally. So I think we need to make sure rules are evaluated and can lend themselves to foster that kind of entrepreneurship. I would like to see our lawmakers work together and make a small change that would impact thousands of Utahns.